You know, it's funny how history repeats. This is my, I think, sixth YouTube channel. My first YouTube channel is Angry Jesus 420, and it has the vast majority of its videos locked down. The videos that are up there are just the ones that Kim Schneiderman personally selected to leave up there. My second YouTube channel is Mitigated Chaos, and she took down the entirety of that channel but did not delete it. Anyway, on my Angry Jesus 420 channel, I have videos just like this, but now let me demonstrate it done with the power of AI. Good enough. So I am using my second iPhone to record my second day's worth of journaling with an AI app. And this was our conversation from today.
Today, 11:21 a.m. Edit. Legal battle and discrimination scales. Red angry face. Legal writing. Using cannabis. Using nitrous oxide. Listening to music. Burning incense. Taking baths. Feelings. Distraught face with tightly closed eyes. Overwhelmed. Angry face. Frustrated. Face with big pleading eyes. Powerless. Sad pensive face. Disheartened. Broken heart. Discriminated against. Disappointed face. Isolated. Bullseye. Targeted. Face with steam from nose. Injustice. Red angry face. Angry. Fearful face with blue forehead. Fearful. Sad but relieved face with sweat. Insecure. Photos to remember. Entry summary. 137 words. I'm overwhelmed and frustrated by my legal battle following a declaration of incompetence by a licensed social worker. I believe the prosecutor is discriminating against me due to my disability, and I fear she will destroy my life. I feel powerless and targeted, and the prosecutor's actions, including dropping charges but reserving the right to prosecute in the future, feel discriminatory. I've experienced repeated arrests and discrimination in Sparks, NV, stemming from misunderstandings related to my mental illness and neurological condition. My coping mechanisms include cannabis and nitrous oxide, but I also use music, incense, and baths. I feel isolated and lack a support network. Though I'm trying to build one, an upcoming deposition of the social worker offers a potential turning point. I'm determined to fight back, but fear forced institutionalization or removal from my home. Original entry, 1,300 words. What are your plans for today? Today I have to sit down and work on the writing of the motion or declaration to the appellate court about my eviction in Sparks. I'm overwhelmed thinking about just recently being declared legally incompetent. It bothers me that she was a licensed social worker. It bothers me that she had the authority to deem me incompetent. This is problematic because the prosecutor isn't looking to understand my conditions. She's looking to obfuscate it and then discriminate against me. She's aware that I'm disabled, and instead of trying to figure out how that affects my day-to-day life and why I'm getting into the trouble that I'm getting into within the city of Sparks, she's trying to punish me and drive me out of the city because she discriminates against the disabled. I plan on living in Sparks for the foreseeable future, and I believe that I'm in gravest danger if I don't get that prosecutor disbarred because she is going to malign my character, misrepresent me to the courts, and destroy my life. So it's me against her and I have to take her out before she takes me out. Can you describe a time when you felt you had more control over a similar situation? I've never had more control over any of these situations. The charges against me are insignificant, but the pattern of discrimination by this prosecutor in particular is evident, and she's currently trying to obfuscate the situation by allowing me to be declared legally incompetent, meaning crazy. I will never be sane again, so the prosecutor dropped the charges but reserved the right to prosecute me for the charges in the future, as well as all future charges related to my disability. What specific actions by the prosecutor feel discriminatory? When I first came to the city of Sparks in February of 2023, I called the police to notify them that I contend with mental illness and a neurological condition that is rare in their city. I tried to explain my situation. I've been arrested in the city trying to purchase medications. I've been arrested in the city trying to seek emergency medical treatment. I've been arrested in the city quite simply for being disabled and using a service animal. Quite frequently, I'm discriminated against and driven out of establishments. I'm told that I'm not welcome in the community. The police arrest me because other citizens don't understand or like me, and the prosecutor tries to punish me because the police arrested me. She's not willing to look into any of the situations that are causing or leading to these arrests. She's just quite simply trying to give me a criminal record and punish me and drive me out of the city because she does not have the tolerance nor understanding for disabilities. What coping mechanisms do you currently use to manage these feelings of powerlessness? As far as medications are concerned, I utilize cannabis. I have ample supply of cannabis. When I'm in absolute crisis, I try to calm myself and center myself, and oftentimes that's much easier to achieve with a natural element, and that element that I prefer is nitrous oxide. What healthier coping strategies might you consider exploring? As far as coping strategies are concerned, I often utilize music. I burn incense. I take frequent baths. But I would prefer to focus on the medications because I medicate with cannabis daily and I augment with nitrous oxide when in crisis and finances permit. Can you describe a time when you felt truly understood and supported? No, I can't. Can you identify any patterns in how these situations escalate? I need clarification on that question. Your question is, can you identify any patterns in how these situations escalate? Please explain to me what you mean by escalate. Can you describe a typical escalation pattern in your own words? A typical escalation pattern is just me going about my business. I could have a mechanical tick that gets people's attention and now they're staring at me, which causes anxiety. And because of the anxiety, the ticks get worse and that draws in more attention. And then as I have a preponderance of people staring at me, then I start having vocal outbursts. It'll start out as stupid sounds, and then it continues to draw attention. It escalates to profanities. What small steps could you take to interrupt that pattern before it escalates? I utilize service animals. That way people know that I'm different. They just don't know why I'm different. What specific steps could you take to feel more in control of the legal process? I have no control in the legal process. I can argue my points well, but I'm inadequate when it comes to written form and everything that they requires ultimately written. What support systems, if any, could you reach out to for assistance? Currently, I have next to no support. I've been forced to deal with drug addicts to try to get them to assist me in the things I'm incapable of doing myself and then supporting me and my animal in moments of crisis where I could potentially lose it all. What small steps could you take to build a support network? At this point, I don't believe that I'm going to be able to build a support network until I get the city to recognize the persecution that is taking place. And then once the city recognizes the degree of persecution, then I might be able to get support groups to take an interest in me. But before I can get any recognition, I will not be able to get any support. What small steps could you take to build a support network? Even a small one. Now when you say even a small support network, yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm utilizing drug addicts to form a brief support network until I get enough credibility that I can bring a higher degree of human into my circle. What specific steps could you take to feel more in control of the legal process? On July 29th, I get to depose the licensed social worker that had the authority to deem me insane to allow the prosecution to further discriminate and persecute me. What are you hoping to achieve during this deposition? And from that moment on, you no longer walk blind. I'm just hoping for clarity and transparency. How might achieving this clarity shift your approach to future legal challenges? I believe this woman is either going to have to reassess me or they're going to have to get somebody with more clinical expertise to assess me so they can understand the degree of my disability and cease persecuting me for being a kind, giving human being that other people don't understand. How might achieving this clarity change your self-perception? Why do I need to change my self-perception? There's nothing wrong with my self-perception. Why are you asking me such a stupid-ass fucking question? What specific actions could you take to channel that anger constructively? Well, I'm working through it. I've done a lot of shadow work. I'm looking to fully integrate my shadow, but I definitely feel significantly more powerful and calm. So I find your last question insulting, and I find this question to be rather passive-aggressive. What specific steps can you take to protect your well-being during this legal battle? I'm not concerned about protecting my well-being. I'm a warrior in battle mode. What specific steps could you take to ensure your safety during this process? I'm not concerned about my safety. What I'm concerned about is my freedom. I'm afraid that they will come and get me and either take me to a hospital against my will or take me to a jail against my will. They've called me crazy and said that I don't know the difference between right and wrong, and I'm afraid they're going to send a wagon, either a red and white one or a black and white one, to try to come and collect me. What concrete steps could you take to mitigate that fear? What I just said is a fact. It's up to other human beings whether they're going to come and remove me from my dwelling and take away my freedoms. They've demonstrated that that is what they will do. So this is not an irrational fear. This is just something that has to be content with. What steps could you take to feel safer, even if it's just a small one? To feel safer, I would go purchase a gun, but I don't know if I can legally do that at this point. What concrete steps, even small ones, could you take to feel more secure in your home? I don't feel insecure in my home. I feel very secure in my home. However, they've already court-ordered me out of my home, called me crazy, and I think they are coming to get me. What specific steps, even small ones, could you take to feel more in control of your situation? No, strip me of all my freedoms and rights. I'm in grievous danger right now, and I'm just staying secured within my dwelling, hoping that I don't have to go violent if they come and try to remove me. What small steps could you take to feel more secure, even if it's just a small one? Now I'm judging this app because I just started using it and it keeps on asking the same stupid questions time and time again. 10:43. Continue.